Okay, welcome to webinar number 2. This webinar is going to cover eVal 2.0, and we're going to go through the district administrator role. So this webinar will be recorded. At the end, I'll give you a couple of resources where you can find this, also the administrator's guidebook to give you some more help after this webinar is over. So let's get started. This will take about 30 minutes or so and just cover the highlights. First, I want to start off with talking about eVal 2.0. eVal 1.0, which we've been using for the last 3 years, is gone away, and 2.0 rolled out in mid-July. It is a huge improvement. I think you're going to like all the new features and the ease of use on both sides for a district administrator as well as for your teachers and your principals. So let's talk about this screen for just a second. So if you're familiar with the old version of eVal, the concept is the same. Stuff is just in a few different places. So start on the left over here. You can see who you are, what school district you're in, and you have some options for what you're looking at. Below that, setup, this option here talks about what kind of administration you want to do, teacher or principal, as the district admin. And then the left-hand side contains the menu, which we'll walk through. This is the workspace right here in the middle. And we've got some tabs, framework setup, and schools. The tabs will change depending on which menu item you choose on the left. So first things first, you got to remember, if you're new to eVal, the district administrator's responsibilities are the ones, someone in the district, the person that's responsible for setting up the eVal tool for all the users in the district. So keep in mind, the district administrator of eVal does not necessarily refer to the position of district administrator, but it refers to a role that anyone in the district can have that manages eVal on behalf of their district. So the district administrator role is just something that's assigned to anyone that you want to have in the district. So today our goal is to go through configuring eVal for the upcoming year, confirm the instructional framework, assign evaluators to teachers and evaluators of principals, add resources including questions and prompts, and also look at some of the other miscellaneous settings that you have in the reports. So let's go ahead and get going here. So the first part we're going to talk about is setting the district framework. I'm in the sandbox. This sandbox, as you can see by the URL up here in the corner, is just sandbox.eval-wa.org. You can use the sandbox. It's available for anyone to play in. Everything is erased at midnight every night, so it's a place to practice. You don't have to have any of the text after this. You can just put in the first part of the .org domain there. So I'm going to be working in that. It has fictitious schools in it with principals and teachers. You can work in your production eVal. That's fine. Just follow along in the real eVal. So the first page that you come to is the dashboard. And on the menu over here on the left, you can tell you're in the dashboard because it's a little bit highlighted and it has this green bar next to it to show you where you are. The first screen shows us the framework setup for the new year, 16-17. This is probably already done at this point in the year. But if you have not set it, these buttons right here that say assignments actually say choose. And so you would choose one of the 3 frameworks, Cell, Marzano, or Danielson. You would do that both for the teachers and for your principals. Once you choose the 2 frameworks, that sets it in play for the whole year, and the buttons change to assignments. So your screen looks like mine after you choose your framework for the year. The next step, after you assign the framework, is to assign teachers to principals. So we're going to work on the teacher section. What this table means is we're in the Lake Chelan School District. I'm going to do assignments for teacher evaluations. We'll come back and do the principal assignments to their evaluator in a little bit. So I'm going to click on the white assignments button, and this takes me to a dashboard, a screen that shows us all of the school buildings in the district. So in this fictitious example in the sandbox, there's 4 buildings. These would be replaced by your actual schools. Shows all the principals in each of those buildings. The next column shows whose responsibility is to assign teachers. And if the district is chosen, like school 2, 3, and 4, that means the district administrator is the only one that can assign teachers to principals. If you choose the school option, and you're the only one that can set this as a district administrator, if you choose the school option, that means the school administrator or the school principal, as well as you as a district administrator, can set the assignment responsibility. So it just depends. Who do you want to assign the teachers to their principal? That's what this is. We'll come back to pending. School 1 has 26 teachers. 26 have been assigned. How many teachers are awaiting assignment in this column? There are 0, so a green check means you are done. And the next one is view. This is where you would assign it. So yours might have 26 teachers with only 10 assigned, so you have some assignments to do. We're going to click the green view button. That takes us into Lake Chelan School 1. So that's what we are looking at right now, Lake Chelan School 1. It has a list of all the teachers, teacher A through Z. And let's walk through this left to right. We'll come back to this teacher-wide assignment in just a second. Teacher assignments. Here we go, teacher A. Teacher A is on a focused evaluation type. They are assigned to principal A. They are ready to go. So we're going to play around with principal D here for a little bit. We're going to assume that principal D is, or I'm sorry, teacher D is not comprehensive, they're focused. So here's how focused works. If you choose comprehensive as the evaluation type, you're done. Give them an evaluation type, give them an evaluator, they're ready to go. If you choose focused, however, it prompts you with this window. And this window right here is where you would set the focused criteria. Now, if I drop down, I choose one of the student growth criteria, such as C3, and hit save, I'm done with that teacher. They're focused on C3, assigned to principal A. I could change that if I wanted. And they have a green check. However, let's say that they have other focus areas that are not one of the student growth goals, like C7. If you choose C7, the tool will automatically prompt you to select a student growth goal, because that's what the focused evaluation type requires. At that point, I can choose one of the 3, C3, C6, or C8, as the student growth criteria. I hit save, and now we can see teacher D has a focus area of C7, student growth of C3. The key here to remember is if you have more than one focus area, you need to choose the non-student growth first, like C7. Then you choose the student growth and the evaluator, and you're done. So this is a great overview. You will want to make sure all your teachers are assigned to someone inside. All right. Again, there's a couple check boxes here that help you. You can hide the teachers that are completed, so you can just look at teachers that do not have an assignment. We don't have any. All of ours are assigned in this screen. Another place that you can change the district assignment responsibility or the school assignment responsibility, as we talked about before. Okay. There might be a time in your district or situation in your district when a teacher in a building is not evaluated by a principal or head principal. Rather, they might be evaluated by an administrator at the district office. For example, special education. A special education teacher might be evaluated by the director of special education services at the district office. In that case, the evaluator's role is called the district teacher evaluator. A district teacher evaluator can be someone that's not a principal, but does evaluations. The process for a district teacher evaluator to evaluate a teacher actually starts with the district teacher evaluator requesting to have that teacher brought under them for their evaluation. So let me walk you through that. I'm going to switch screens, and what I'm doing is jumping from one browser to another. And I'm switching over to a different browser. I'm already signed in as the district teacher evaluator. I'm actually not. I'm going to log out. And I'm going to choose Chelan. District teacher evaluator, log in. Okay. I use 2 browsers because now I can log in as 2 different people in the same school and go back and forth. Okay, Here is a district teacher evaluator. And here are the steps that they will need to go through to request a teacher. Up in the top left, you can see district teacher evaluator. This would actually have their name. They've just been given the role of teacher evaluator from the eVal, from the EDS administrator. The EDS person is who gives all of the eVal roles. All right, what they're going to do is they're going to come down and they're going to go to Setup and Assignment Requests. So I am a special ed director. I need to observe and evaluate my special ed teachers. We're going to use teacher F for this. And so I find the teacher I would like to evaluate and I create the request. What happens now is that request goes to the district administrator. You can see it's pending. This teacher evaluator has already requested and been accepted for teacher B. Now they want teacher F to be under them. So teacher F was already assigned to a principal. So what we're doing is we're saying that I'm going to remove, I would like to remove that evaluation from that principal and I would like to take care of this evaluation. There's nothing else that you can do here as a district-wide teacher evaluator. It's all in the hands of the district administrator. So let's jump back over. I'm switching screens. I am now back as the district administrator. I'm going to go to my dashboard. The next time the district administrator logs in, they're going to see an orange button. That means there's something new that has happened here. And it says district teacher evaluator assignment request is pending. All right, that makes sense. Let's drill into this. Let's look at the assignments tab. And you'll see that the assignments tab for this school district shows me all the buildings. And under School 1, there is one request, one DTE, District Teacher Evaluator Request. I choose View on that line, and it brings me to my requests. Here it is. Teacher F. This District Teacher Evaluator will actually have the name of a person, and it's pending. So if I want to move this teacher under that District Teacher Evaluator instead of the principal they're at, I will accept that request. And the second part is the status. Assigned evaluator, I can make this district teacher evaluator the assigned evaluator of that teacher, or they can be in an observation only mode. There's going to be times when there are two people that are performing evaluations and observations on a single teacher. They share the load. Maybe the teacher teaches in 2 buildings or more, and you want 2 different evaluators to weigh in on the observations and the evaluation. Well, this is how you would do that. You would have one of them could be the principal, the other one could be a teacher evaluator. And what happens in reality is that the role or the tasks for that teacher need to be split out. They both can't be the evaluator. One needs to be assigned the evaluator. The other one can do observations, input data, add artifacts, contribute to that evaluation, but ultimately only one person is assigned the evaluator and finishes all the tasks for that teacher for the end of the year. So we'll make this person the assigned evaluator. What happens now if I switch back to my district teacher evaluator and go to the dashboard? Let me refresh this screen. And I look at assigned to me. You can now see that teacher F is mine. They're a comprehensive teacher. No activity has happened, but they are now under my control for observation. So that's how the district teacher evaluator works if you're having teachers evaluated other than principals. All right, next step. Next item we're going to cover on the left-hand side, we're going to move down to the prompt bank. The district administrator can input prompts for teachers. This provides an easy, convenient, and uniform way for principals to prepare for discussions on pre- and post-conference topics, as well as student growth goals. Prompts set up by the district administrator can be used district-wide. Prompts that are set up by the school administrator are school-specific. So I'm back at the district administrator. I've clicked on the prompt bank, which I can see that I am on this level with the green bar on this menu item, and I have a few different tabs. Pre-conference and post-conference, the setup of a prompt are exactly the same, so we're just going to walk through in the pre-conference. So to create a pre-conference prompt, you might want to, as a district administrator, meet with your team, your leadership team, your district administrators, your TPEP folks, and come up with district prompts that you want the entire district to use. If you want to use this section, this is how you do it. You click on Add a New Prompt. And in this screen, very simple, we enter the prompt here. So let's just say we're going to describe the learning activity that I will observe in your classroom. This is a required prompt, so we check the box. All principals will use this in their pre-conference, and we choose Done. You can see I already put this prompt in. That was kind of a little redundant. I used this as another example earlier today. So I have two prompts. They happen to be exactly the same. Let's just remove one to make it look better. So as the district administrator, I've created a prompt that my district team came up with. The prompt is required. Everybody will have to answer this prompt as they go through their pre-conference. And now I can add more prompts if I want to. To add a post-conference prompt, you click on the post-conference prompt tab, and it works exactly the same. We're going to skip this one. Let's move over to the student growth goal setting. I have created a prompt already. The only difference is when you create a student growth prompt, I will click on Add New Prompt, is you will enter your prompt here. Using data elements to modify and improve instruction, right? For sake of time, we'll leave it at that. The only difference here is that we have to align it to a student growth goal, and then we hit Done. All prompts that you enter for student growth goal setting will be listed here when you return to the prompt bank for this section. All right, that's all there is with prompts. District administrator can create them, or the building principal, school principal, but just remember they show up in different places, school only or district wide. The next area we want to go over are the resources. We'll skip down a few tabs here. We're on resources on the menu. Resources are documents or websites that the district leader wants to share with teachers and principals across the entire district because they're relevant to the student success and to the teacher evaluation. These resources are shared by the district administrator and they can be viewed district-wide, whereas resources shared by a school administrator are only shared school-wide. So this is pretty straightforward. When you click Add a Resource, it is simply asking you what type of resource do you want to, do you have a file, a website, or a professional practice? And you simply upload a file from anywhere on your computer or the web, or you copy and paste a link to a website, and then you simply come down and you align that resource to help your teachers out with some of their evidence. Once we do that and we're done, we have evidence. Or I'm sorry, we have a resource that is used district-wide. So that's resources. Those resources appear in the workspaces under resources for the teachers as well. All right. Moving on. The next section that we want to do, or that we want to cover, is called the District Viewer Setup. So on the left-hand menu, I will click on District Viewer Setup. The District Viewer at a district level has access to a principal's information in the eVal tool. This kind of access is provided by the district administrator for another user in eVal to be able to see what the principal sees. So we're gonna allow this person to mirror what a principal sees. So what we're gonna do is a couple checks that you have as a district admin. First, make sure that you, in the setup section here, you are in admin teacher evaluations, not principals. So we're adminning teacher evaluations. We click on the district viewer setup, and we get to a screen that is asking us to identify a district viewer. Because this is a test system, I don't have a drop-down of a whole bunch of users. You would see people that have the eVal role of district viewer. And what we're doing is we're taking the district viewer, so I would choose a name off this list and I will assign them to a school, or multiple people off the list and assign them to multiple schools. So now this person, in my example, their name is District Viewer, they will be able to see school number 1 as a principal can view that. All right. Some of our schools where this has been useful is we've had the district administrator is not the superintendent of the school, but the superintendent would like to see what the principals are doing, and so we've given the superintendent a district viewer role. That's just the level that they want to view, to see into the eVal tool. The next section we want to cover is other settings, some general settings. And so there's some miscellaneous settings that must be configured in eVal in order for your tool to display or not to display various features. These configurations that we're going to look at depend on several different factors. The instructional framework you've chosen, your union negotiations, your district's workflow, and the calendar. The best approach to this is probably not to try and answer these yourself, but rather to meet with your team. Sit down with this screen open as you meet with your team, your TPEP team, your district administrators, and walk them through all of these steps to have them help you to choose the right boxes here. Also, you could print off each one of these pages, hand them, and let them mark them up, and then you could check the right boxes too. But let's look at what's in this. So we are in it as a teacher evaluation. We choose settings at the bottom, and we're going to work our way across these 4 tabs on the top. So under general settings, for example, there are some optional modules. If, for example, as a district administrator, you uncheck this box, you are unchecking enable self-assessments. So therefore, your teachers would not be able to do a self-assessment. So if you're in a district and the teachers can't see self-assessment, it's your responsibility to enable this for them. The second section is the default framework view. When teachers and principals log in, what framework view do you want them to see? The instructional view of Marzano, for example, or the state view of Marzano. So these are all set at a global level. The rest of these are pretty self-explanatory. As I move into observations report, these pieces can be in the observation report or not. You can change the names of the reports. Self-assessment report and summative evaluation report can all be tweaked to your district's standards. Okay, over on the left-hand side under the setup menu, if you change from admin teacher evaluations to admin principal evaluations, the menu changes a little bit, but basically we're going to walk through the same exact steps that I just showed you. You will assign principals to their evaluators. You can have other people evaluate your principals that are not district evaluators. You can set up prompts for all of the pre-conference and post-conference work that is done. Assignments that are available just to your principals, resources, and then the same is true under the settings. There are miscellaneous settings under the principals section that you will want to configure as a district. The last piece is using the dashboard in the district administrator role to view all of the principals and all the teachers and get a look at where the district is as a whole. So I have changed my setup to administer teacher evaluations. I've clicked on dashboard, and what we want to do across the top here is click on tab number 2 called schools. When I do that, it shows me all the schools in a district. I would like to get a snapshot of principal A in school 1. They have that principal has 24 teachers. I click on view, and what happens is my role changes a little bit. My role changes, and you can see it up here in the left-hand side of the menu, is I am now viewing Principal A, viewing as Principal A, looking at all of their teachers. And I can change this from different principals, but it's as if I'm logged in as this Principal A, looking at teachers. And now I can drill into, let's just look at Teacher A under Principal A. And when I hit View, I can see what the principal sees. There's some new evidence that's been uploaded by this teacher. I can see the teacher's self-assessment. So this is a great view for a district administrator to see what the status is, if we're making progress, if we're following along as far as the timeline is concerned for the entire year. within my district. Also, while you're in this view, looking at Teacher A, if we move across this tab to yearly status, it switches back to the entire school, not just Teacher A. And I guess that's kind of where we were. It gives us an oversight or an overview of all the observations and activities in minutes. Then moving to the right, one more tab, coverage. This is kind of a cool view because we can see what standards have been identified and covered with artifacts or evidence. And so this is collected evidence. We could also look at packaged evidence, which we'll cover in a separate webinar. And we can also change the view to focus on what is covered. Since this is just a demo, a few things are covered. If we change to what's not covered, as we move towards the end of the school year, this will be a very important view to see what holes are still out there as far as what evidence needs to be collected in certain, or observations for the evaluation to be covered in certain domains. There it goes. It just took a second. So lots of stuff still to do this school year. Okay, that concludes the overview of the district administrator. I want to show you one more thing. If you go to this website, www.ncesd.org/eval, it will take you to this page right here. This is our eval page. This is where I have put the recorded webinars so folks can come back and view those. But the other thing, more importantly, down at the bottom of this eval page on the left is the user's guide for teachers and principals and the district administrator guide, which is what we covered today. So this document has a lot more in-depth, some pictures and step-by-step instructions on how to be the district administrator in your school. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, email or call, and let me know if I can help in any way. Thank you.